And the Queen, with Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, the Queen who won this race in 1954, has been appraising these 11 runners, headed on the race card by number 1 Ashmore, ridden by Yves Saint-Martin, number 2 Bastino, ridden by Joe Mercer, 3 Card King, Robert Jaloux, 4 Kinglet, Eric Eldin, 5 On My Way, Bill Pyers, 7 Star Appeal, Blinkered, ridden by Greville Starkey, 8 Dahlia, ridden by Lester Piggott, 9 Dibidale WCarson, 10 Grundy, Pat Edery, 11 Highest, Frankie Durr, and 12 Libra's Rib, ridden by Frank Morby. Those are the 11 horses who will be racing for the richest ever King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Diamond Stakes, worth £81,910 to the winner.
It developed an instant pattern, as it were, with Highest not just pacemaking, but I mean setting off at quarter horse pace.
They're all in, they're under starters' orders. And they're away. And Bastino himself is one of the first to show, from Grundy on the outside, and then the Highest racing up now to take it up from Kinglet. And it's Highest from Kinglet and Bastino, the 3 stable companions, with Star Appeal on the outside of Bastino, then comes Grundy, then just in behind Grundy is Ashmore, and then Dibidale, then comes Dahlia, then On My Way and Card King, and Libra's Rib is the back marker as they get on towards Swinley Bottom at a really blistering pace with Highest in the lead.
I said we want a very strong pace, and we arranged for Frank Durr to go on Highest as hard as he could go, as far as he could go, and Kinglet to wait on him and then take it up, which happened.
And it's Highest in the lead from Kinglet, and then comes Star Appeal, and then Bastino. Behind Bastino is Grundy, then Ashmore, then Dahlia, then Card King, and then Dibidale, then Libra's Ribbon. On My Way is the back marker of the 11 runners. And now it's Kinglet who's going on. Kinglet from Highest, and then Star Appeal, and then Bastino. Bastino making relentless progress. Back in 5th place is Grundy, but closing with them. And then comes Ashmore, and then Dahlia, and it's Kinglet from Star Appeal now as they race towards the 5 furlong marker and pass it. It's Kinglet in the lead from Star Appeal in 2nd, and Bastino 3rd, and Grundy 4 and 5 Ashmore, and 6 is Dahlia. 7 just behind them, Libra's Rib making good ground towards the outside. Then Card King. Behind Card King is Dibidale, then On My Way, and they're past the half-mile marker now and racing towards the home turn, and it's Bastino who's gone on from Grundy.
As it was, Joe Mercer had to take up the running a bit earlier than he wanted, so the horse was in front a long way. I think he was in front about the last 5 or 6 furlongs.
And it's Bastino now in the lead from Grundy, the favourite, in 2nd. Then comes Star Appeal 3rd. Dahlia's coming there strongly 4. Behind Dahlia is Ashmore, then Libra's Ribbon, Card King as they level up for home. And Bastino from Grundy in 2nd. Star Appeal and Dahlia, then Ashmore. Then On My Way beginning to run towards the stand side at the 2 furlong marker. And it's Bastino, Joe Mercer, being pressed by Pat Edery now. Grundy, then Dahlia in 3rd place as they race towards the furlong pole. It's Bastino and Grundy together. Then comes Dahlia, then On My Way. Bastino on the far side, Grundy on the near side, the 3-year-old and the 4-year-old. They race into the final 150 yards. And it's Grundy going on from Bastino and Dahlia and On My Way. Bastino's fighting his way back, but Grundy's holding him as they come to the line. Grundy wins it. Bastino 2nd, Dahlia's 3rd. And so Grundy has done it. Grundy has established the all-time record for an English-trained racehorse. He's won over £312,000 in the result of the 1975 King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Diamond Stakes. His first number 10, Grundy.
The tactics worked out to really take his speed away from him, which almost came off in the King George. But unfortunately, Reba's son wasn't available. He injured himself prior to that. And the other 2 were Highest, who was a very ordinary, mediocre type of horse, who was quite sharp, and he made the running for about 6 furlongs, and then Kinglet took it up with about less than a mile to go. Had Reba's son have been there with us, he would have taken it up and carried me probably way into the straight. He was capable of doing that. He was a good Group 3 horse.
Joe Mercer will claim that if they'd had their proper pacemaker, who'd been able to keep going a little bit longer than the 2 pacemakers they had, they'd have beaten you, Peter.
Well, he might have done. There you are. The facts are there.
The hype it got afterwards, particularly, and the crowd were aghast with it. And you came back and, all right, you got beat, but I was quite happy I got beat. I wasn't looking for any excuses, really and truly. And I thought, yeah, it was a pretty terrific race. I mean, the pace they went off, Highest, I mean, he probably won a 6 furlong race the way he went off. I think Eric Eldon rode Highest and Frankie Durr rode Kinglet. And You know, they just scorched it down there. And I was just travelling as if you were sat in a Ferrari.
I said to my wife, Sheila, you know, I don't feel as if we've been beaten. The horse fronts are a marvellous race. I'm so proud of the way he ran that I feel the elation that you normally feel with a winner.
The race of the century took its toll on its big guns. Bustino, who later sired an Ascot Gold Cup winner in Peen, never raced again, while Grundy was retired to stud after an unplaced effort in the Benson and Hedges Gold Cup. He would produce the 1980 Oaks heroine, Barreem. Sir Peter O'Sullivan can now reflect on the enormity of the event and has the race card from the day, a race card bearing many secrets. Sir Peter, talk us through this incredible race card. First of all, I hate to say it, but there are a lot of bets everywhere. Let's start off in the top right-hand corner. We've got 120 each way Bustino to win 1,000, and one or two others.
Yes, and it looks as though I went a bit mad, actually. But I mean, this is quite unnecessary information, but it was just, I used to, having written everything possible on the race card, I suppose I put in a little bit of personal involvement, and here I've rather overdone it. I seem to have backed pretty well everything. I mean, I'm amazed looking this up the other day to see that I'd even have 30 quid with Lloyd's at 220 to 1 against a dead heat.
Just at the top here, Lloyd's £30 at 220 to 1 against a dead heat. Were you anticipating it? Was the build-up for this race so big that Grundy and Bustino couldn't be split, I suppose?
Well, I just thought, maybe they'd just come to the line and be inseparable. I thought I'd catered for practically every other eventuality, except that I'm rather nonplussed to see on the card that I hadn't, although I napped Grundy in the Express, there's no
was the only one without a mention.
Having had a halfpenny on it. I backed everything else. I backed On My Way each way, Dahlia each way, I backed Ashmore each way, I backed Star Appeal each way. And quite interesting, and laid a bit back too. Yeah. Laid 75 quid each way Bustino and laid 40 quid each way Dahlia.
Well, this is a 1975 Betfair account, isn't it?
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you, really? But you see, there's nothing new about hedging, about laying a bit back, about limiting your liability. But it's quite interesting.
And when you see the names of these horses, I mean, these are absolute superstars, Star Appeal and Dahlia, as we've said, and they were good horses beaten out of sight by Grundy and Bustino.
Absolutely, you make a very good point, because there you have horses that were respectively beaten 7 lengths and 20 lengths by Grundy, and that's Star Appeal and On My Way, and they were first and second in the Arc de Triomphe later in the year. Amazing.
So in some ways, because of the result, it's built up as a match race and the race of the century because of the battle between these two horses, but that in a way slightly takes away from the fact this was a corking field.
It was, but it also it justifies the fact that it was built up as a race of the century, as it were.
And on your race card, you've got all the jockeys' names, you've got information about, I know on other cards, sort of what the jockeys have done in the race in the past. I mean, that's why, of course, Pat, I think, riding first time in this race straight away. What a way to start. I suppose the other thing we should point out, of course, is this race wasn't run at a crawl with all those pacemakers. An unbelievable finishing time.
A record that still stands. Yes. Amazing. Amazing. Here, for a moment, 2 horses and 2 men came as near to perfection as any of the great ones around whom the history of the turf is built.